Oh my, Christmas music already! I'm not a fan of pre-lit trees. Pre-lit trees are $600. It's like starting your cash on fire. Hey, everybody sing along. That's right. Christmas music before Thanksgiving. I'm sure that pisses a lot of people off. Well, too bad. I'm going to keep playing it. All right, maybe not. All right. Enough. Don't you love it? I hate people that... I see this on social media all the time. People just get all bent out of shape and pissed off that people are decorating. Oh my God, there's Christmas trees up. People are putting their Christmas lights up before Thanksgiving, and I think that's really foul. Don't you have something else to channel your energy on? You gotta love social media. And then people will post, people will bitch that other people are bitching about it. I can't believe everybody's complaining about holiday music and Christmas lights and trees going up before Thanksgiving. I'm going to start hiding and blocking and unfriending people because I'm the only one with that powerful button. I'm the only one in the universe that has the ultimate button to block people because I'm privileged. I'm entitled. What the hell does this have to do with voiceovers? Absolutely nothing. As a matter of fact, this is... doesn't necessarily always have to be about voiceovers. And by the way, this is Voiceover Sermons with Terry Daniel. I'm a voice actor and coach from Minneapolis. It's a balmy 35 degrees in the Twin Cities. I've got a fun little studio in my basement that I nicknamed The Cave. And, you know, people have enjoyed the Voiceover Sermons in the past, but I got a little lazy on them. And last year I think I did 4 or 5 episodes. And I'm like, you know what? I've got all these tools, all these great people around me, all these great ideas, and it's time to start taking it a little more seriously. So here I am. You know, occasionally I can be serious. Yeah, speaking of this has nothing to do with voiceovers, and I'll promise to get off my soapbox here. But I do want to bitch a little bit about pre-lit trees. I did a Facebook post about it yesterday. Some people were actually offended by this. Imagine that on social media. Well, I'm allergic to real trees, and, anybody who follows me on Facebook knows that not to take me seriously when I start these rants. But I was in Target the other day, and I noticed the pre-lit artificial Christmas trees were literally $200 to $300 more than a plain Christmas tree. Now, you can buy the plain Christmas tree and then buy some Christmas lights for it for literally like $3.99. It'll take you 5 minutes to string the lights around the tree. Talk about burning your cash. I don't know. This one really, really bothered me. Some things bother me in life. There's no question about it. But I just, I'm not a fan, and I'm not afraid to rant about stuff that I'm not a fan of. And you'll find that out during the course of many of these podcasts that I do get off subject and start talking about stuff that maybe bothers you a little bit too. So maybe you're bothered by this podcast. Oh, I'm so sick of people bitching about Terry's podcast on social media. Seriously, I'm so glad you're here. And by the way, I'm going to do these live every other Thursday, and I'm really going to try to stick with the schedule. Yeah, that'll last for about a month. No, I'm serious. I'm going to take it serious. We're going to have different subjects. Occasionally, I'm going to do an interview. It's not going to be a podcast that's centered around one main interview. There's enough of those kind of voiceover podcasts out there. If you like that kind of thing, great. They can be very valuable, entertaining, and quite educational, but this isn't going to be the podcast for that. But I am going to do reports from people like Jan Anderson, who is actually a coach on my staff. And we're going to do a little segment called the Sermon Side Note. That's going to come up a little bit later on. I also have a segment called Coach's Corner, where a student will give us a little tidbit on their experience working with us, because I don't just do voiceovers. I do voiceover coaching as well. I thought I stopped that music. What the hell is going on? and then I'll take a little Q&A if anybody bothered to join me live. If not, no big deal. There's a chance that this particular episode may not work because I'm using a brand new console for this particular show. So let's talk a little bit about, obviously the holidays are coming up, and people tend to, it's great to take breaks because we all get a little burnt out. We all get a little stressed out during the holidays, and we just kind of want to take it easy. Well, if you're a voice actor, this is a grand time, in my valuable opinion. Valuable can be defined many different ways by different people. But it's a good time to take a few days to start working on stuff for 2019. So there lends my title for the podcast. Don't sleep on the holidays. Don't just sit there for 2 to 3 weeks and not do anything, because the first quarter, in my experience, and this is my history, and everybody's going to have a little bit of a different experience, especially for you pro friends out there. Different things are going to work for different people. And there's never, ever, 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 it's never one person's way or the highway. You see blogs out there and you see people in the forums, well, you need to do it this way because I'm Captain Voiceover. Well, no, you're not, because if a certain way works for another person, then so be it. In my experience, first quarter is booming in my business because advertising agencies have renewed their budgets. E-learning companies have renewed their budgets. A lot of production companies who work with several clients have renewed their budgets, and everybody gets, ramped up for first quarter. So in my experience, first quarter has been booming for me as a voice actor. Now, some people might say, well, it's actually really slow for me in January and February, and things don't pick up for me until March. It's going to be different for just about every person. But that's my experience. And what is going on here? Not yet. But so some of the things that I do is I'll use a Google Doc form, and I'll start prospecting for the new year. I don't necessarily start marketing to anybody in December because it does feel like the industry does slow down a little bit at the very end of the year. That doesn't mean that you don't have to work on stuff, but it is a really good time to work on your marketing for 2019. So I'm not a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet fan at all. I like to use a Google Doc, and I start writing down prospective clients who I haven't worked with yet. And I start making lists. Now, when I say lists, I don't mean 300 potential clients. I try to keep it easy for my ADD brain, and I try to put together, for example, my e-learning prospective client list. Maybe that's a list of like 10 prospective clients. Maybe in another column, it's going to be theme parks, because those of you that know me know that I specialize in theme park announcements. And don't you dare go after my clients or I'll have you burned at the stake. No, so those are some of the things that I do. Maybe there's some out-of-market talent agencies that I would love to be a part of. I might put that in another separate column of a Google Doc. Those are just some of the things that I do, even during the holiday season, because, we all kind of get tired of certain relatives bothering us during the holidays. Oh, my God. And I'm not saying you should be doing stuff like this on Christmas Eve or on Thanksgiving or anything like that. But again, it's a perfect opportunity to start getting things ramped up for, 2019. I just cannot believe for the life of me that we are headed into 2019, but that's on me. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the sermon side note. Oh, yes, ladies and gentlemen, Jan Anderson has arrived. He's got some ideas on some of the things that he might do at the end of the year. Let's go out to Jan Anderson in California.
Hey there, Terry. Greetings from smoky California. Yuck. Please send the rain. Anyway, I just wanted to remind everybody that as we are all freelance voiceover actors, we're business people, and during the holidays, it's really good to sort of take stock about how your business is doing on the whole. Reflect back on what things worked for you in your business, what things didn't work very well and could use improvement, and what things totally and utterly failed and you should drop immediately. Do your demos need to be updated? I know I've got a couple that sure do. How about your website? Does it need to be maintained? Are you choosing the right banking options? All this kind of little minutia that we take for granted on a daily basis, but it all adds up to helping run a successful business. You could also think about your marketing efforts during the past year. What worked well? What would you like to change? Do you want to try something new in the coming year? All this business stuff that, revolves around our voice acting. It's super important for not only the longevity of your business, but just keeping you involved. Because sometimes we sit on our hands waiting for the next project to come in when there's plenty for us to be doing in terms of pushing our business forward. So anyway, that's that. Thanks a lot, Terry. Back to you.
What now, Jan? ADD jokes! Woo! Predictable ADD jokes. Hey, what was that? Squirrel! Actually, that was terrific. Jan is, by the way, Jan Anderson is a terrific voice talent, and he's also a coach on my staff. And we figured out that halfway through the process that he's also a very good copywriter. So what he does is he writes original scripts for our talents that we work with. You hear a lot of demos all over the country, and, I have to be honest, there's a large percentage that seem to kind of dip into the Edge Studio free script page, and you hear a lot of those scripts on people's demos. Well, that's pure nonsense. We write original scripts for our talents to support their niche, their vocal range, their ability, whatever. And Jan is a terrific copywriter, so I have to blow a little smoke up his butt about that. I usually would get on here and tell you just what an idiot he is, but I'm trying to be a lot nicer on these podcasts. No, he's terrific. We're happy to have him on board. This is interesting. I moderate a couple of different groups on Facebook. If you're a brand new talent, come see me at Voiceover Camp. Just do a little search on Facebook for it. It's a great place to be. But I also moderate along with Dave Cavassier. I call him Corvo because sometimes I'm too lazy to say his last name. But it's a group called VO Pros, and we always get interesting questions and posts in there from people that are supposed to be pros. Somebody yesterday, any tips for staying awake during late night VO sessions? Finding that I'm falling asleep in the booth often. How about recording them during the day when you're awake? How about doing some blow at night? No, I'm kidding. That's bad. That's one of the, it's not like it's a bad post or a bad question. It's just very, very bizarre. It's nice that people are chiming in and helping this person, but I thought that was I thought it was kind of funny, actually. You're falling asleep in the booth often. Well, I certainly hope you're not telling your clients that, or that your delivery is coming off. And that would be interesting if you actually started recording a real job for a client, and then you send them the MP3, and halfway through the process, you literally start snoring. Try to, I would recommend doing that and see how long you keep that client. Speaking of glitches during a recording, thank God, for regular clients who we've also kind of become friends with, because I've dropped the F-bomb on more than one occasions when I screw up a word or a sentence, and sometimes I forget to edit it out. Oh my God, can you believe it? That was supposed to be a sound effect, and that didn't work. I'm trying to produce, host, edit the show, everything all at once. But yeah, I've done that before, and I'm like, oh my God, I just sent this very, very good client the recording with me dropping the F-bomb in the middle of it. So yeah, that's nice and professional. It does happen from time to time. And the longer you work with a client, and the more the relationship that's being built, they'll have a pretty good sense of humor. It doesn't mean that you have to constantly drop the F-bomb in every kind of recording, but that's kind of where we're at. By the way, Trish Bassani, who I've known for over 10 years, we've done some work together. We actually did we've done a couple of podcasts together. We did the VO Cafe with her, myself, Peter Bishop, Sean, and Jordan, and Matt. And, it became very, I don't want to say stressful. It became more difficult. The busier we all got, it came, getting 5 people together on the right day and the right time became kind of just a little impossible after a while. But she is also now a coach on my staff as well. And she's always been a pretty good marketing mind. I think, as a matter of fact, I think we first found each other. Trish and I believe, were the first 2 customers on Twitter when that came out, because I think I found her on there. But I want to go out to her because she might have some ideas on some things you can do at the end of the year if you're a voice actor. Trish?
Thanks, Terry. Well, before the actual end of the year, I usually get some of my tax stuff together, make a list of my bank accounts, all the things that I need to do in order to get my taxes done after the first of the year. Obviously, you can't start to do numbers or anything until the actual year is over, but you can start to kind of get the paperwork together, make sure your bank statements are all in order. Little things like that just kind of make your life a little easier once the time does come after the first of the year to be able to enter the numbers in, send them over to your CPA if you have one, if that's what you do, which is what I do. And that's about it. So, just get all the paperwork together and make a checklist of all the things that need to be on there and that you need to do so you're not doing everything all at once. That's how I used to do it, and it makes my life a lot easier doing it like this now. So, thanks, Terry. Back to you.
Thanks, Trish. Yeah, that's always, taxes are like, oh, taxes. It used to be such an evil word. If somebody said the word tax to me in the past, you might as well just say the word Satan. Because, especially if you're a freelancer, sometimes it's hard to get organized as far as now. I'm no CPA and I'm not, obviously licensed to give anybody any kind of tax advice on anything. But let's just say that the more you can get ahead of it every year, just like Trish said, get your shit together at the end of the year and get ready for that. So you're not overwhelmed on April 13th trying to get stuff to your CPA or try to get your numbers together, because a lot of voice actors, including myself, are procrastinators, and they tend to not get to that kind of stuff, the non-fun stuff, until the very last minute. So that is excellent advice from Trish. By the way, I do want to take some questions, and I know it's, I haven't really done these voiceover sermons live in the past. And by the way, there are over 100 archived in voiceover sermons. So voiceoversermons.com, bookmark it. You can also subscribe to it, by the way, on iTunes and iHeartRadio. I'd also would appreciate if you share the love a little bit on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, retweet my stuff, or just give us your opinion. That's fine. But as long as you share the podcast, that would just be great. And it's voiceoversermons.com. As a matter of fact, there is a chat file here. All right, we've got some questions. We got a question right here from Dominic, who I believe is in our Voiceover Camp Facebook group. So this is great. How do you come up with the prospecting clients lists? Do you find them on an agency like Voices, or do you pick a company at semi-random? Thank you for the question, Dominic. Well, one thing you shouldn't do, and I'm only saying this because I saw this, somebody cross-posted in about all 300,000 voiceover groups on Facebook one time. Hey, is anybody willing to share their client list with me? So what you're telling the world is that you're a lazy ass and you can't go out there and prospect yourself. Well, I got news for you, fella. We're not going to give up our client list to you. For one thing, they're our clients and they're not your clients. You need to go and earn your own clients. And Dominic, with your question, Googling production companies, talent agency lists, e-learning companies, Google is always going to be your friend. There's a multitude of directories that you can find on Google, especially agencies too. Now, agencies, their protocol, as I've mentioned in many of my group classes, their protocol is going to be a little bit different in how you can contact them. They typically have a form on their website that you have to fill out. And they'll also let you know if they're accepting talents, because not all talent agencies are always going to be accepting new talents. Some of them do it a certain time of the year, and they will let you know on their website. So it's very important to follow the protocol, especially with agency submissions, because I've got news for you. If you don't, that's a sure sign that you're not a good listener. And if you're not paying attention to what the talent agency said, how are you supposed to pay attention to a client that gives you direction? That's going to be their frame of mind. So Dominic, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, I like to put together lists. Okay, here's my e-learning list. Here's my theme park list. Here's my production company list. Even an audio-visual directory list. These are, major corporations have in-house studios where they produce a lot of e-learning materials, and they do a lot of training stuff for their employees. I do all the training stuff for Subaru of America. So whether you're a car maker or you're a salesperson for Subaru, you have to sit through my tinny voice and my cumbersome delivery. No, I'm being too hard on myself. It's actually not too medical-like. I do a lot of medical too, and that doesn't always have a lot of personality. But you have to take these training courses, and that is a huge part of the business. So thank you for the question. If anybody has any question, I don't know how many people we have listening live, maybe not many at all, but there's a little chat box on the Spreaker page here where you may be listening to the podcast. You can ask a question there, and just go for it. And if you don't have any questions, that's totally fine too. As you know, as I mentioned in the middle of the show, we do a lot of coaching. We coach new talents. We coach experienced talents who just want to kind of get a refresher, maybe a new demo made or whatnot. But we're always here to help. And it was nice of Steve McGrath, who's a very talented student of ours. Very good commercial voice, very good character voice, and actually used to, I don't know if he still does, used to host a podcast himself. And he was nice enough to provide a glowing testimonial of our services. So guess what? The sponsor of this show is our coaching programs. And let's hear what Steve had to say.
Hi, my name's Steve McGrath, and I've been a student of Terry Daniels and the crew for a while now. And I got to say, once I finally got off my pretentious butt and signed up to work with Terry, Rob, Tawny, and Jen, that was the turning point. Look, this is the path to go. High-quality coaching, professional demos, help with the marketing, the nuts and bolts. This is the way to do it. Script read coaching from Terry, Rob, and Jen. Jen, thanks for opening my eyes to the construction of the script and examining the script and how that will only make the reads better. Tawny and her marketing guidance will no doubt bear fruit. Terry and Rob pushing me beyond where I thought I could go. Terry had the gall to call me versatile at one point. Like that was the greatest thing he could have said ever. Thanks for taking me and my voice, this hunk of vaguely miniature boat-shaped wood, and refining it into the ship of the sea it was meant to be.
Oh my God, was that poetic. We'll send you that $200, Steve. I hope that script that we gave you to read worked really. No, I'm kidding. That was really nice. That was really nice. And Steve, yeah, he does a killer Shaggy. You just heard it there. So thank you so much for that. By the way, if you are a new talent, come and see us on Voiceover Camp on Facebook. Just do a search for it, request to be in the group, and we'd be very happy to have you there. So I think that's pretty much going to do it for this particular show. Where's my music? Where's my music? Oh, suddenly my Christmas music isn't playing, so that's going to be a little glitch. Of course, I'm going to try to figure it out right here with everybody listening. Well, it's not working, so there goes my outro music. as I figured there'd be a glitch or two because I'm doing this kind of new format. But so we don't have any outro music. We only have this. And we only have this. Yeah, and we have this. Oh, maybe we'll just use this for our outro music, at least for today. Hey, I want to thank everybody for tuning in to Voiceover Sermons with Terry Daniel. I hope the information was helpful to you. Maybe it was somewhat entertaining. Don't forget to subscribe to us on iTunes or iHeartRadio, and please share our podcast on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. We'd love to hear your thoughts, too. You can write us. You can actually write me if you want. Terry@universalvoicetalent.com would be my business email. That's Terry@universalvoicetalent.com. All right, everybody. See you later.